Hey Mahi, good to see you, buddy.
Hello, good morning. Good
You're
morning,
looking,
everybody.
you're
I
looking,
apologize for a
yeah.
couple of minutes delay. This is a little bit a tech error here on my computer this morning.
No, that sounds really good. So I've got your uh, PowerPoint ready to rock and roll. Would you like me to manage it, or would you like to run it?
Sure, please go ahead.
Do that, okay.
Thank you
And what
very
I'm gonna,
much.
okay, sounds good. So what I normally do, fellas, for protocol is I do just a little preamble of what's cooking and some topics of the week that are timely, and then I'll transition over to you as we go here. So I'll just share my screen here, and I am recording this.
Mhm.
Okay. There we go. So all we're going to do is I wanted to cover off a few things right now. This is our May 8th of 2025's Coffee Talk. This is going to be put on both our YouTube channel and on our website at ifarmag.ca for further scrutiny and review and taking it in for those that aren't able to be on or those that want some extra information. We'll also have a very technical, very good agronomic presentation in a few minutes. But to start with, just did a quick snap poll around the countryside, and lots of folks are around that half done. Some are 3/4, some are just getting rolling. My experience is that when the slower guys are just getting rolling, we're about half done on average. That's kind of a rule of thumb. And that, but what we've noticed is that because of the soil temperatures, there's not a lot growing in the fields. So in terms of the pre-seed burn-off, not a huge program. I do have a number of guys that are putting sulfentrazone, i.e. authority, down as the post-seed pre-emerge window happens, just as to get that tidied up and to optimize their in-crop their crop's ability to get out of the ground without competition. But a real common theme is we need a rain, and lots of guys indicating that before they get the crop out of the ground, we're going to need a rain. The 60-kilometer winds yesterday or whatever is unhelpful, and so anyway, we'll just be mindful of that as we roll along. One tip relating to canola, I received a few from a few people in the trade on that side of things. That there's a big market inverse right now. Market inverse being is that July futures are high and all futures are low, and so you can get more now later. It's typically, as a rule of thumb, not conducive to carry that old crop inventory across into that, because you're going to have to make up like $1 a bushel plus, if not more, in that. So just be aware of that, and along with that, as we do have the June-July window presenting us, those crushers are making money, and so they're going to both look for the futures are going to be somewhat where they are, but you're going to see some basis manipulation because they want to keep that seed hammering through their facilities and that, because they're making bank on that. So just to be aware of that if you happen to be in that boat. On our captive insurance front that we've talked about, we've had a couple presentations with Carol on, and there's a number of quotes that are being done with that. It's a custom insurance program for your own farm. And right now, I think he's indicated it's like there's, from the day of seeding, you got about 45 days of timeline to get things organized. It costs nothing to get things sorted out. So if you're interested in that, that's great. And on the Clear Cost app that I've been sending out to you guys from fertilizer for your summer fill, you just got to download that app and use my reference number for that. And then there's some estimates that are coming out, and there's some new things coming with that. So with that, I would like to, again, just thank yous for coming. And I wanted to just thank Mahi and Dean for coming in. Is that screen size okay? Is it too big? Is it?
Yeah.
Everything?
Good for me.
Okay, good. Yeah, so anyways, I just want to thank you both for coming on today, and Dean has presented a bit earlier about some things that he's got cooking on with Mahi, but I wanted to give the floor to Mahi today and Dean, just as he has a product that's ready to rock and roll. and they've got some good data behind it, and we'd like to understand a little bit better as we look at optimizing the crop on years. There's sometimes a false economy of tightening up your belts and shaving every cent that you can on the. And what I mean by that, if you have a place where you can have a minimal investment and optimize a few bushels extra, those few bushels are profit. And so instead of getting, it's easy to close one's mind to things, but I wanted just to present this, and along with the other economic benefits, I thought I would just give these guys the floor, and we can go from there. So with that, I'll just turn it over to you guys, and if you want to just give a bit of a brief background on yourselves, and then I'll move the slides as you like.
Great. Thank you very much, Dean York. I need to go with your full name because I do have another Dean there. So, always, my pleasure and a lot of fun work with you all. And I'm sure, Rob Garland also there. We have great discussions, like for past several years, different meetings, different shows, and like that. Dean Skinner and I were working for almost 8 years for different great biostimulant products. One is here, SynbioET. Today we are going to focus a little bit more about what is biostimulant, how it works, how that helps. Before going about the product knowledge, just I wanted to share who am I, who's this stranger sitting in front of you all. So better to know about a little bit background about me. By that way we can connect stronger moving forward. Can you please move on to the next slide to talk about who am I here? Well, I am Mahendran Baswaraj. Large name I do have, but you can go with very simple Mahi, M-A-H-E. I'm the founder and the everything person for Energia Technologies, to do some fun-filled research and to take care of bills at the Energia Technologies here based in Saskatoon, and the same thing at the Newgen Biologicals, where we do have our the mycorrhizal facility, we do the fermentation facility back in India. Like we have almost 40 people. They are working at Newgen Biologicals, and I trained from University of Toronto, University of Guelph Agriculture College, and Queen's University, Kingston, Ontario. It has been for almost 12, 13 years journey, the academic side, from learning to teaching to research and everything. And then always, like looking into the innovation part and how to innovate the product and bring it into marketing, and then business development with connect with great people like you, and to bring this basic research into commercial stage. I'm in my personal life here, I live with my lovely wife, Mehala. She is in a healthcare profession here in Saskatoon, and do have two lovely daughters, Shakti, and she is 20 years old. She born here in Guelph, Ontario, and Shavana, she's 13. She is here in Saskatoon born. So traveling here across Canada for over 23 years, while having a great, organic tea plantation growing experience based in India. So originally, I am a tea grower, organic tea growers, that caught our interest to travel here on the biostimulant and organic related product for the regenerative agriculture, where we can bridge the gap between the conventional and organic farming. This is all about who am I. And if I go to the next slide, that this is our concept is to save soil. So I don't want to call the soil as a dirt. The soil is a living thing. So we, through our regenerative agriculture approach, we always looking an opportunity to feed the growing world through our cutting edge technologies on this area. Then can you please go to the next slide? So here, as I mentioned just before, the NRGA technology is incorporated here in Saskatchewan 27. We are focused on the research and developmental part for sustainable and organic farming and agriculture through our microbial technologies and converting the agriculture waste residue into the highly value added product again that got back to agriculture growing. And our concept is biostimulant and biologicals that we can fit into as an input side to take care of soils health to the crop production. So if you go to the next slide, please. So here we are mainly working our research and the product production is dealing with soil health care inputs and the crop health care inputs and agriculture waste residue. Well, I don't want to call the waste. The waste is no value, but our approach is to converting the residues into the value addition inputs. And then from there one this concept, we developed the SynbioET product and the Synbio product line. Can you please go to the next slide? And here, this is our SynbioET product. The SynbioET product is we developed from the plant-based ingredients. This is one source of the ingredient, completely came from the plant source, like easy to observe form, and looking forward in a bigger picture on road that, to make it this ingredient locally available in Saskatchewan and then spread over the product in Western Canada, and then across the globe. This is the concept that we developed in this product. Like if you look at this plant-based source, it consists of 21 different amino acids and then 26% of completely water soluble amino acids, 41% of the peptide that creates, the micronized organic carbon that is from this plant-based source. And through this amino acid peptide source, we can get up to 5% of organic nitrogen, which is totally different than the chemical or synthetic chemical based nitrogen. So this nitrogen is, and the organic carbon that is completely 100% bioavailable form. So all this, the derivatives that generated from one plant source. So this product is completely regulated. And if you go to the next slide, and here, a little bit more about the technical part of the product. Like the plant needs, our plant microbes needs, soil microbes needs, full range of the amino acids, because the amino acid, the base bone for protein synthesis, any living things, not only for animals, including for all the plants and the microbes. So if we supplement these kind of amino acids and peptides that directly influence on the protein synthesis, if we better the protein synthesis, is better the stress relieving, better the photosynthesis, and better the microbial load increase, and the microbiome load increase in the soil. If you go to the next slide, there is some more information on it. So since we do have micronized 16% of the micronized carbon in this liquid, this is we see that this is kind of a really great seed pro-coating material. So once if you pro-coat with the SynbioET, it helps to absorb more nutrient from the the fertilizer. So it make it the fertilizer nutrient more available. Uh, so by that way, sometime, always we are challenging, like in the industry, like how many pounds we are, putting into per acre. So why do we need this much? Why, what will going to happen if you reduce a little bit? Is that, are we getting the plants getting the right amount of energy even if we reduce the input load? These are the questions is really sometimes challenge to address. So what we can see that, like here, with the symbiote pro-coating, like we observed that, the nutrient uptake rate is high. There could be a great opportunity to reduce the input volume and maximize the its benefits to the soil and the crops. And since the product comes with several amino acids and peptide profile, this is a really a great source for the seed treatment alone, or if the farm already have like the inoculants like that, it can mix very well with the any other inoculants, and then it helps to bind these inoculants onto the seed surface and helps to improve the seed germination, seed vigor, and better the root zone development like that. And then the product, it can be directly applied on farrow application as well, with um, like if you have the liquid fertilizer uh, um, approach, it can tank mix with the liquid fertilizer as well, by that way improving the nutrient availability from that liquid fertilizer. And this is tank mix very well with any other liquid nutrients that can go for on farrow or on crop application. And it is pretty much covered with any herbicides and fungicides to tank mix well during that season. So we recommend this product for on farrow application or on crop application, like a liter per acre. So we did a lot of like research trials and third party testings and open field growers information as well. If you see, go to the next slide, there's be some connection on it. So this is a data that shared by a grower who used the SynbioET like a few totes product on his canola and the wheat. We see that on the wheat crop, like a 2.8 bushel yield increase, and on canola 3.3 bushel and the yield increase. This grower used this product with the herbicide time, two application during the growing season, one with the herbicide and one with his other micronutrients and fertilizer application. If you go to the next slide, please, and then how we got uh, we are working with the Agquest. This is a third-part testing laboratory based in Saskatoon, and they do have in Winnipeg as well. So this is we tested the product in lentils, wheat, and canola. And the lentil, we see that like a 4.8 bushel increase when they use the symbiote during the herbicide time and fungicide time, to split like each half liter per acre application. So altogether during the growing season, 1 liter per acre. And for the wheat trial, we see that 4.1% yield increase, and the similar way of the application. And canola, I'm not sure how many of you could see the slides. Like here I cut off my slides here on the canola part. Okay, if you zoom in, and then you can sorry, if you zoom out, you can see that information. So in canola, anyways, we got mm, sorry for holding here. That's all right. Like since I do have data here, like go with that. In canola also, like we got somewhere like 4.8 percentage of the yield increase on this um, these data, like we observed during 20 last year growing season. And then if you go to next slide, please. And then I think Rob Garland, you may know about this trial that is for the organic growers in Spalding. The who I think do have around 7,000 acre farming there in the Living Sky organic farm. Living Sky, they used this product for their wheat and other product, a couple of other crops as well. And then the Living Sky shared this information to Sask Organic. The Sask Organic forwarded this the message to the organic growers who were connected into the Sask Organic. So they see that a 2 bushel increase on the wheat, and interestingly, 0.3 percentage of protein content increase in the wheat that itself on the commodity quality standpoint. This is a great addition. We wanted to test this hypothesis that how much the symbiote helping to increase the protein synthesis and photosynthesis. This is a demonstration that the product is not only helping for the yield increase, and also for its the quality as well. So can you please go to the next slide? So how the SynbioET is works, through its unique delivery system, the SynbioET can work as a pro-coating material on the your granular fertilizer or any other synthetic fertilizer, and also an organic fertilizer too, because this product is well regulated for conventional as well as the organic farming, that you can see that on the next slide. And this is a great soil probiotic, means it serves a great nutrient source for soil microbiome, whether if that is a packaged microbes as an inoculant, or the indigenous microbes which we always see in the soil to serve as great food source for the soil microbes. By that way, it helps to enhance the soil microbiome, which is the probiotic concept. And amino acids and peptide is a great stimulant, because as through its postbiotic action, it provides nutrients, and including some water soluble nitrogen when well, just 5% of the nitrogen we have in the product. By that, you will come to know that, how much nitrogen you get it there, if that goes for, a liter per acre. So this is kind of a kickstart, readily available nitrogen. It helps to enhance the nutrient uptake and photosynthesis. Since this is the product is heavily involving for the protein synthesis and in the crop, and improving the photosynthesis, during the environmental shock or chemical shock, which is the temperature, or if there is any other chemical shocks through the chemical what we are using in the farm. Sometimes it may go for higher the load, it may create a toxicity, that all we know. That the product is helping on the neutralizing its toxicity while maintaining the benefits and functionality evenly. So by that way, the product is helping to release the stress on crop. So this is how the SynbioET works in different approach. And then if you go to the other slide, and this is our again we wanted to emphasize a little bit more on the pro coating mechanisms, the micronized carbon that helps to create a unique delivery system and a uniform surface coating. This is completely organic molecules that can be work with any other, like seaweed related products, or if you have humic fulvic product, it can work with them or work alone with the better performance through its amino pep technology. This is work as a nice binder and a sealant. That's how it can be tank mixed with your any other products as well. Can you please go to the next slide? So this is our other product line where we have the plant booster fulvic, that is our unique processed liquid fulvic, and the humic, that is again this is and also the kelp. This is a cold pressed kelp. That's by that way, we can preserve the minerals, phytohormones like that through the cold processed approach. So the main source of this ingredient is in India. Yeah, close a friend of mine from the school, like he has been managing or owning a kelp processing unit, and like we are working with on that one. The kelp is that is Ascophyllum nodosum kelp, and then this is a cold pressed one. So we have these products here, an Omri and ProCert certified product. If you go to the other slides, here this is the brand is certified through CFIA for conventional, and ProCert and Omri certification for the organic use as well. So I think if you go to the next slide, like this is pretty much all about who we are at NRG Technologies. And the Newgen Biological is my farm base in India, like where we are working on all the biologicals. I hope you would have heard a bit about the bioballs and how the bioballs and biologicals, that are connected with the SynbioET maybe down the road. And the Newgen Biological is a powerhouse of the beneficial microbes where we grow brew the different strains of the bacillus and trichoderma and the mycorrhizae through our root organ culture. And then with the conjunction with the NRG Technologies and the Newgen Biologicals, like these product got registered to use in Canada. And I believe since Dean Skinner, he's closely working with all these products. If I miss something, Dean, you can add on and give me a little bit more energy.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Mahedran. Yeah, as Mahedran mentioned, we've been working together for about 8 years. Just quickly touching on the Pro Coat, the fertilizer coating, I think one of the main things we're looking at it as is a fertilizer stabilizer in terms of stabilizing the nitrogen. It works extremely well and helps the biology assimilate it into itself, essentially. And then when we started working together, one of the challenges, I know I did some work on the horticulture side, and we looked at trichoderma. It's an exceptionally good organism for taking out funguses, and it costs in the hort industry about $70 an acre, which is really prohibitive in terms of broadacre farming. And the mycorrhiza strains that we looked at that were I guess that were, what I would say quality ones were about $17 US. So between those two organisms, you would have been looking at about $100 an acre, which again is prohibitive. And one of the things that Mahedran's able to do with his facility is grow these organisms at a much better rate. All of those bacillus organisms have a ton of science behind them, have been used for a very long time. So by bringing all of these modes of action together, we're quite excited about, and the delivery system. It's something that we worked on for a long time. The facility is certified by the CFIA, so it's actually considered Canadian product. But we have. Oh, I'm getting a little feedback from you there, Mahi. If you could just mute and jump back in.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, sorry about that. I muted you there, so we'll have to bring you back online to jump in. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so that's one of the things that we've been working on for a long time. The exciting parts to me is once we get that biology established in the ground through the bio balls, then as we stimulate that with a foliar application, we can really increase the plant energy, and that's going to go down to the microbes and further start that process of regenerating. And when the microbes have enough energy, that's when they can start assimilating the nitrogen from the atmosphere, and we can actually start to reduce nitrogen rates through the stabilizing effect of coating the fertilizer, and also through providing that plant energy into these microbes. A lot of it would be very similar to the rhizobium. Rhizobium does it by that connection with the plant. These organisms have other methodologies to do that. So we're quite excited about that in terms of, fertilizer rejection, nitrogen rejection. I see Carol is on the call, and we want to continue down that pathway of being able to reduce the fertilizer, but provide those insurance programs that I think will give a farmer a better better ability to sleep at night until he's more comfortable with the program. So anyways, that's about it for me. Mahi, I think I muted you, so you might have to unmute to get back into the conversation. But if there's any questions anybody has,
I've got a few comments that I'd like to bring up. That why I brought you guys on today is this is a year where, again, everybody's being quite cost conscious. Some folks may or may not be throwing their whole shot of fertilizer at seeding planting time, and so they may want to consider some optimization opportunities of what's available to the plant. And there's maybe a different way of thinking about this with utilization of a non-synthetic in the dirt fertilizer. And this, so one would be the data that you've got, and I apologize, Mahi, that I didn't have your screenshot sized for that one slide, but on the AgQuest canola report, there was a 3.1 bushel gain or a 5.1% yield kick observed with that as an example, utilizing it as a seed treatment. So there's the seed treatment, which will be very economical, and then there's the foliar side of things. So lots of guys want to know what the cost per acre is. And Mahi, if I remember correctly, you indicated it's around $11 as a SRP on that. Is that correct with this product?
Yes, the SRP is the Commander, that range, $10 to $11.
Okay, sounds good. And then so that's in terms of optimizing yield and taking what the plant can access and maybe creating a different way that it can access more of what may be tied up in the soil. So that's one thing. The second thing was I played around with a few products in the past that assisted the plant in recovering from agrochemical application, and it helped the plant to process that stuff through faster. So hence there was a little less retardation of the plant's ability to, from the time you spray glufosinate on it, it bronzes, and then it kind of gets kicked in the teeth, and then it takes a couple days or 5 days or whatever till it goes. The products that I had experience with, it actually accelerated that a little bit so that it went through that process quicker. That's one point. And then the second point being relating to, we'll call it heritage products. We're running out of some product lines or product categories that are going to be able to look after certain weed species. For example, kochia is a bear, and we're consistently seeing resistance factors coming into play. And I would like your guys' comments, Dean and or Mahi, on what role a product like this may, not will, but may assist in terms of the plant recovery process, and also in terms of herbicide intake and execution of posting a weed we don't want. I'd like your take on that.
One of the ways a plant recovers, I guess, from herbicide is it requires a lot of energy. And the way we're farming, the plants are at very low photosynthetic efficiency. So these actually boost that, and that's why you can get that more rapid recovery. I've been working on some agronomic and scientific ways to show that so a person can see it. One of the ways is through a simple bricks test. If you test about 5 to 6 days after spraying Liberty, for instance, you will see a significant increase in the sugar that the plant is producing. We'll talk about that maybe a little more as we dwell into agronomics of it. And then from what you're talking about herbicide and herbicide performance in general, I did quite a bit of work on that in the past with some of the chemical resistance guys and some other people that had seen this by kind of factor in the past. And what it does is the plant actually builds resistance through the shikimate pathway. And it seems like these products are resetting the shikimate pathway, so they're actually removing the weed's resistance to the herbicide. That's something we're looking at. I wouldn't say that's going to happen for sure, but we're starting to see that often with fields that are starting that regenerative type program where the weeds are dying a lot easier with some of these older chemistries that are a little less expensive. So it's interesting to work on that, as good comment there.
Yeah, so it's not cast in stone, and I did my best to say it may. No, there's no data hardcore on it today, but try some. And I know that from a science perspective, if there's a reason to chase this down and put a nail in it, that will come in time. Bluntly, incentives for old chemistries to be revitalized by some in the industry is not conducive to their end goal. Our goal within iFarm is to, frankly, provide an opportunity to mitigate risk, optimize profit, and costing management. And if we can help along the way with that, we're going to do that unabashedly. So that's just how it is. So those are kind of what I had in my head. Do you have an indication, Mahi, or Dean, in terms of like how many acres have you put things into in the past? Like, tell me a bit about your market size and things like that. Are there any particular crops that you would consider as being a good starting point that you see the best return on, or would be the simplest thing to see things? And then in terms of seeing things, what would a farmer actually observe in the field in terms of what's going on as you do an application of this, in terms of, does it green up a little bit or whatever? But just give us your take on some of those things, please. And Mahi, I muted you, so you'll have to come on mute again.
I'm sorry for that.
You're good.
Dean, first of all, thanks for again the sharing the performance data on the comment board, and this is really highly appreciated. And not necessary you asked me to apologize there, that is well, you showed that information here, so everybody they could read this one. Well, on the product usage and the product performance standpoint, as I mentioned you before, this product has been under the research and development for over 6 years here in Saskatchewan. So from the formulation standpoint and the laboratories research and on crop and in soil data like that, it took us a little bit of time, and we launched this product just last year. And then I would say last year around 10,000 acres worth the product got used and tested and sold, everything there. We got great feedback, and the promising thing here, the growers who used this product, they got reordered. So that means, I believe that they saw something there form, and then we go there out and see how the product is responding, on the way what are we explaining, and to test the hypothesis, to see that we saw all those the information here. Say example, the product, if that go on farm application, on farrow application, we see that there is a microbiome hike increase there. And then if that go on foliar application, as I showed in some of the data that shows, there is an yield increase in the end. And through the stress relieving, to make it more bioavailable, all other nutrients like that, in the end, that can connect into the yield increase. The overall, the crops that we tested on the pulses, or legumes, say example, the wheat or some canola, and we use this product on flax as well, and and wherever we use this product, there is a positive response on the using this product. That's what we could see. And the information that what we received so far, although if that is have some data, but I always think that being researchers, the data is not enough. So we are acquiring data all the time to show this product and how it works with our other SynbioET product lines. So we are acquiring that data, and this year I feel like a few growers, they are reusing these products in different form and different crops and in a different soil. Like that, hopefully we will get some more information here, and then we will share that information to you as well. And with your iFarm group, if someone they show interest and wanted to see what is this and how it works, most welcome, and we are encouraged for that.
Excellent. Well, thanks. If we can facilitate in any way, we want to help do that with you guys and all that. So just get a hold of me if you want to explore it further. And all of y'all have my contact information from the numerous texts that I send out, and I apologize for that if it's a little overbearing. Sometimes hopefully it's just once a week usually, or the emails that I send to you and stuff. But would encourage.
So, and then the product standpoint and the product, how it works in the field, Dean Skinner, he's very closely observing in the agronomic standpoint. And Dean, if you give your insight on Dean York's comment, it would be really highly value added.
It's actually, this, oh, we're getting a bit of feedback again there, but it's actually a very, this is a refined kind of second generation of a product that was developed in Europe in the, I believe in the 90s at Topolina. So it's actually been over millions of acres. But what Mahedran has done is he's actually made a new generation, a secondary product. So it's been very heavily used. I know it's from this particular product, we have only been getting it out there now, a lot of sort of grow room and that type of trials, but it's not, something that isn't heavily used in Europe. And then it was a flagship product for a company you and I used to work for, Dean.
Oh yeah. Oh, those guys.
But I don't want to get into trademark infringements, but
okay.
And then as well, with the bio balls, it's something that is newer, but a lot of these are natural organisms that have been around for decades, and literally there's thousands of scientific journal articles on them and how they reduce pathogens and break nutrients out. Like Mahedran mentioned, I've been working on more agronomic tools to show what's going on. Last year with the bioballs, we dug crops and typically saw that the root system was 25 to 30% larger. And some of the amylofasciins, the one bacillus in there is known as, a growth promotant, but not like a one that causes any issues with the plant. It just naturally helps to grow a larger root and stimulate these different parts of the plant. And then these organisms as well will help the plant trigger to do what we sow with the exudates and build the soil up. So we're actually doing some agronomic tools like Mahedran mentioned with the microbiometer in the soil. We're using bricks and a few other things to show the plant sugar levels, because essentially the higher the plant sugar is, the more it's photosynthesizing, the more it's going to feed these soil microbes. And that's where we really start to see a snowball effect of really building the regenerating the soil at the end of the day and really building soil health up. Without that, I think that's really the best way to do it in terms of sequestering carbon and really getting the minerals to be available in your soil again, because these microbes can essentially dissolve the rock mineral and make them available to the plant. And the SynbioET, the spray, just helps to give you that plant energy to feed the microbes so they're able to do that. Because if they don't have a food source, they don't have basically the energy to break to perform those chemical reactions.
Great. Any questions or comments from anybody else?
I did have a question. The nitrogen stabilizer, there is some money available from the government for that. Just wondering if this would qualify for the program.
Well, I hate to be a skeptic, but from my years of experience in doing business in this, that's really a program for large companies. But, where they're going to use things like agritane that we know is very inferior to a micronized carbon in terms of stabilizing fertilizer. So it's something that a person can do, but I think those programs are typically have a lot of influence from the large companies trying to greenwash their solutions and maintain their market shares. And yeah, we want to continue down that road, and it would be great to get there. But from my experience, it's kind of like smashing your face into the wall. It's a tough one, unfortunately, because this is the way. If you actually want to do what they're saying and sequester carbon, getting the exudation of the plant is critical in doing that. So
I would suggest that the appetite is evolving for innovations that will be legitimately backable and bankable. And so it might be appropriate to, maybe it's time we can revisit some of those opportunities now with the way the world's changing. I'm going to just stop recording here.